All right. It says we are live. I'm going to wait just a second to verify on the stream itself. We are about 45 seconds early for once.
Oh,
All right,
nice.
cool. There we go. All right. So everything is live, and we're going to let some people filter in before we do formal introductions here. And I'm going to turn off that volume so it's not doubling any longer than that, about 10 seconds. So, while people start to filter in, Chauncey, I want to get your opinion on something real quick. Have you, so this is very hot right now in the horror community. Have you gotten to take a gander at the new Texas Chainsaw yet?
Oh yeah, I watched it last night.
Okay, so how did you react to it?
I loved it.
So Robert, by the way, guys, I'm going to pan over to show that Robert is here as well. He's going to be our sort of stopgap when Chauncey and I have to think of our audience choice pitches. But just so if you see that wobbly knee down below, that's whose it is. But Robert and I, we actually kind of enjoyed it too. We enjoyed 2/3 of it, plus all the gore. Yeah. We thought the last third kind of went off the rails, and we weren't a big fan of what happened to a particular character. We'll keep it spoiler free still, but yeah. So tell, you liked it. What did you enjoy about it?
Well, I thought the gore was really good. I also, I didn't hate all of the characters, and sometimes, it's one of those things where you can't identify anyone that you actually like. So it's kind of like, no, I actually like most of these characters. I didn't care for the girl we were all supposed to care for necessarily. I thought she was kind of like a walking Mary Sue a little bit, but the rest of them, I was like, okay, this works. And it was interesting because they kind of kept a lot of the motivations gray, and it was like, well, who should I be rooting for? Who is the right person in this situation? And I like the setup. They kept it so simple. I couldn't help but compare it to Halloween Kills, which I did not like. And I was just like, wow, look, when you don't have to convolute this and try to insert a whole bunch of stuff into everything, you kind of get
a pretty straightforward slasher.
A straightforward film, and then it's the end, and it's like, wow, that was a nice experience, Then again, I liked Welcome to Raccoon City too, so people probably think it's they want to revoke my critics card probably at this point. So
you deliver your opinions with a healthy healthy dose of salt, I'm guessing. I say take my opinions with a grain of salt because I tend to enjoy. Like, I have to really not enjoy a film to talk badly about it. I find stuff to enjoy. I mean, Fuego and I somehow enjoyed Moonfall, even as stupid as it was. It is one of the dumbest movies you'll ever see, but it's
we need movies
still,
like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's enjoyable on that level. You know what I mean? I feel like we're only about 5 years away from American cinema just adopting an anime style. But live action, just starting to shoot things like that, because we're getting real close with movies like Moonfall, how big and the pomposity of it all, it's crazy. But nonetheless, I was curious about your thoughts on Texas Chainsaw because not only is it the first new entry in a while. I mean, I don't really like to consider the Leatherface 2017 because that wasn't really a fully Texas Chainsaw movie. It was that origin story, but I'm more surprised by the ridiculous amount of discourse it's been getting, even just since it's only been out for 2 days on Netflix. I mean, I see so many posts all about it, and it is an extraordinarily polarizing movie. I see people hating it. I see people loving it. Like, it's crazy the amount of discussion that it's yielding right now.
Which is awesome, I think. It's one of those great things where, sometimes when horror movies in particular, get a lot of discussion, it starts to get put in the category, oh, this is highbrow horror, because everyone's talking about, no, it's just horror. Horror is just horror. But I think, I don't really understand why it's so polarizing. And I do wonder the people who dislike it so much, if they like the original is like one of my favorite horror films, and one of the reasons was not just not just the gore necessarily, because I didn't even actually think, I think this was more gory than, you know, a lot of the first one in terms of some of the like very on, like in your face kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also like the themes that it talked about, the whole idea of can you trust propaganda, the media, the war in Vietnam and what was going on there, the desolation of a place where in the first one of when the meat packing places and stuff leave a town, what happens to those people, what could potentially happen, right? And I felt like this one was in the league of that, of like using another example of certain themes, you know, maybe gentrification, things like that. So it was just like, wow, you know, it's in that legacy of taking this thing that's very much a simple plot, dude trying to kill people with a chainsaw, and inserting it without it actually being so overt necessarily. And I love that about it. As soon as I saw they were doing that, I'm like, yes, they get it. Because I've gotten people who send me things sometimes if they want me to review something or whatever, and they're like, this is just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's just like, or they were inspired by it, and it's just a whole bunch of gore, like unnecessary gore with nothing to back it up. And I'm like, I think you maybe missed the point of the first one.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are missing the point of this one too, only insofar as there's so many people hating on it because it's woke. It's another movie that's gone woke and all this shit, and I'm like, no, guys, he literally cuts apart the people trying to cancel him. Like the commentary is anti-cancel culture. It's not like trying to, you know, spotlight it or anything like that. And, you know, it's just a lot of silly arguments, but that's what I think is what's getting people divisive. It's that same old discourse that we're getting now from a lot of horror movies that are coming out, that they're going woke. And I just think that's such an overused thing nowadays that I don't agree that is happening most times.
No, I agree with you. I actually did a whole thing about Candyman 2021 and the question of woke horror. I didn't particularly care for Candyman 2021, but not because of the idea of the wokeness of it. I actually thought that some of the messaging was muddled, but it was like, you know, particularly with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, is that it did do, I don't even know if it was anti-wokeness. I think it was playing on what I talked about in that video, which is when wokeness can go wrong, right? Cool. When being progressive can go to a question of high moral authority where you just condemn everyone else outright. Because there's two extremes. There can be an extreme right, and there can be, and they are definitely extreme lefts. Where it's just like, you know, I can't eat chocolate because of the origin of where it came from or something. Stuff like that. And it's like, come on. Yeah. Like, that's just not, you're just winning brownie points to Twitter. I don't know. Yeah. You know, and I think when it comes to this discussion of woke culture or woke horror, you have people who I'll argue maybe they're kind of telling on themselves if they think as soon as they see maybe a black person in there or someone talking about the Confederate flag or whatever, that they're just automatically thinking, oh, this is so woke. And it's like, maybe you're telling on yourself that you think a person of color can't exist in a horror movie without it being about racial relations. Maybe you're telling on yourself more than anything else.
No, I agree with, I 100% agree with you on that, because yeah, the people that have a problem with that, it's like, why? They're like, you definitely are outing yourself when you know, kind of present that issue, especially in a particular way. So we've let some people filter in. Let me say hi to some people in the chat. We've got Survivor Sam Glass in the chat. What's going on, sir? We've got Movie Mike in the chat, JP, Zach, Michael Damien, Donita, and Eddie D all in the chat. Of course, Robert the Wolfman in the chat as well. So now that everyone's here, let me do a proper introduction. Hey everyone, welcome back to the horror show and our special competition series, Hellevator Pitch. I'm Cecil Laird, this is Robert Duell's knee, and and of course today we are joined by yet another guest that I'm very excited to have on. This person is a YouTuber and journalist. Are you primarily a journalist?
Yeah, that's where my money.
That's what I thought. But guys, please welcome back to the channel, Chauncey K. Robinson. Thank you for coming back, Chauncey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And you actually were kind enough to respond about this particular show, I think about a year ago when I first presented the idea to you. It just took me quite a while to get it going, but you were in the original trailer for it, so I've been excited to have you on. You definitely are going to have a different perspective than the other guys because, frankly, you're a female and you have a lot of great ideas and opinions that I see on Twitter all the time. So a little different perspective today, guys, which I'm very excited about. But of course, you know, if you've watched any of the previous 3 Hellevator Pitch episodes, what this is all about. For those of you that are new to it, and perhaps as a refresher for Chauncey, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, here is what Hellevator Pitch is all about. So it's based on the idea of the elevator pitch. This is sort of a fabled thing talked about in LA and I'm sure New York and things like that, where production hubs tend to be, probably Texas now and New Mexico as well, where what happens if you happen to step on an elevator with someone you recognize to be a higher up or someone that can do something with your movie idea. You have the length of time that you are on the elevator with this person to get your idea presented to them in such a way where they want to make your movie. Now, that can be a short elevator ride, that can be a long elevator ride. So that's what this show is all about, coming up with a pitch that is a horror movie driven pitch that you could present in such a fashion. And we will do 3 pitches as we normally do. The first pitch is going to be a themed pitch, usually centered around a holiday that is around the time we do these. Today's holiday themed pitch is going to be Valentine's Day themed. Very excited about that. Then the second pitch is going to be the audience choice pitch. So if you want to have us pitch a movie idea, start thinking about them now. Don't just wait until I announce, hey, it's time, start thinking of ideas. If you want to present a pitch idea for us, like a premise for us to pitch a horror movie about, start thinking now. And then the third pitch is going to be our pre-prepared pitch, which is something I usually try and gear towards the subgenre of horror that my guest is most interested in doing. So if you recall the first episode with Vince, we did monster movies. The second episode with Dave, we did slashers. The third episode with Barry, we did paranormal. And luckily, Chauncey presented yet another subgenre that she enjoyed. I was worried we were going to start to see, repetition really quickly, but she chose occult/biblical themed horror movies. So that is what our pre-prepared pitch is going to be. So the first pitch is going to be a 3-minute pitch. The second pitch will be a 4-minute pitch, and the third pitch will be a 5-minute pitch. Again, the length of time you're on the elevator can change depending on the size building that you're in, so that's the reason for the different lengths of time on the pitches. So I'm very excited to get into this, and that is the game breakdown. Chauncey, I'm just curious now, having done this, have you done anything like this in the past, having to come up with ideas for pitching? Or, I know you come up with ideas for stories and things like that with the journalism, but how were you? Was this in your comfort zone or not as much?
Well, not the fictional aspect. I actually have something coming. I've done like show pitches, but not like proof of concept type stuff, but not like a fictional thing.
Okay.
So like where it's like actors and how can we market this to the market and
So how did you feel doing it? Was it fun or was it challenging?
It was a lot of fun. I kind of like to do this thing. And actually Michael Damian in chat is my partner.
Oh.
Hey,
Michael.
And one of the things was I like to do this thing of how we imagine the execs are, because I like to make fun of execs, especially as someone who anytime I review a movie, I always think I like to be in the room when this was pitched, especially if it's a ridiculous film. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, and so and so happens, and then this happens, and like, oh my gosh, this would totally be, oh my gosh, this writes itself. It writes itself. Like that's my thing that I go. So I just get really silly with it,
okay,
or whatever, and just see how far I can go. And if I'd want to sit down and watch it myself, or somebody would. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad. I hate for it, I present it as homework just as sort of a jest, but I really hate for it to actually be homework for any of my guests. So, okay, I think it's time to get into this. So I'm going to pull up the countdown timer in the bottom right corner for people to see, so that way they know how much time we have. I will shout it out to you in case you don't have the stream pulled up, so that way you'll know when your time is up. But how we determine who goes first is with my handy dandy old school Fable 3 coin. I think I got this as a special edition with Fable 3 when it came out. So it is a red and blue sided coin. So I will let you call the color, and that will whoever wins can determine if they want to go first for this pitch or first for the audience pitch, and then we will flip one more time for the third pitch. All right. So I'm going to flip it. As soon as I flip, go ahead and call the color. Or you can call the color early, whatever you want to do. But here we go.
Red.
All right,
Red.
You're calling red. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And it is red. All right, you get to choose. So do you want to go first this time or with the audience pitch?
I guess I'll go first this time because I don't want to go first with the audience. That's what I have.
Yeah, well, no, that's smart. That's actually the strategic play because it gives you more time to think.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. That's what I did to Barry. So, all right. So that being said, I'm going to pull up the countdown timer and let me get it restarted. All right. And, oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate the subscription. So, all right. In 5, 4.
Oh, am I going now?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Did you have any other thoughts? You want to clarify anything else first?
All right. I'm getting ready for my pitch.
All right, cool. So hang on to your audience ideas until the second pitch time, Barnes. I don't want you to put an idea and have it scroll away by the time I look for them, and I don't want to forget it. So, okay, here we go. Are you ready? So I'll count it down from 5. All right. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're on.
Okay, so it's the 1970s Crazies meets Love Actually. Now, basically, we have 4 different love stories in the midst of an apocalyptic horror tragedy. It's not D-Day, it's B-Day. So our main story, you have a young man, he works at a laboratory, he loves chemistry, but he has a tendency, he's kind of like a scattered brain scientist type guy, and he's in a really crappy relationship, and he always misremembers Valentine's Day. So he tries to remember, he runs to the grocery store, and the new craze going on right now is everyone is buying this thing called hot chocolate, which is this new chocolate brand. And the tag of hot chocolate is chocolate without the guilt and double the sex drive. So basically, he goes into the store, and it's actually a girl there that he actually really loves. But they have an unrequited love. She is allergic to chocolate. He buys the chocolate for his thing because she's there and everything like that. And then he goes to his girlfriend. She gets the chocolate. She takes a selfie with the chocolate because she's actually a social media influencer, and she's very crabby. And basically, she starts to get hot and bothered. She starts taking off her clothes. And then he's like, oh my gosh, this is really working. I guess hot chocolate really works. And then they start going at it. But then she starts slapping him. And then she starts hitting him. And he's like, yo, this is not what I signed up for. We talked about a safe word. And then basically she goes rabid like the crazy. She starts going nuts. Not exactly a zombie, but she's going crazy. She's foaming at the mouth. He pushes it off. He runs out. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And it would seem like the whole town has gone crazy, basically, because of the fact of this new hot chocolate that is all the trend because it has no calories and everyone's taking it in. Basically, what ends up happening is that you go to different stories. One of the other stories is someone who actually works at the factory. Fast forward, he finds out that he initially thought that it was actually the laboratory where like maybe some umbrella corporation thing happened, but he finds out that the person who's doing hot chocolate is actually an ex-employee who had an affair with the CEO and was unceremoniously discharged. And basically it's like a loosely lawless villain type woman who is running a candy factory of doom. And basically they go there to try to figure out how to get an antidote. And basically what also happens in the third act is the fact that one of the things that Lucy Lawless said is, well, too much candy is bad for the teeth. And this is the third part of the rabidness because their teeth start falling out and their tongues start going all crazy, but they still want to kiss. So basically it's just crazy gore, happiness of love. Actually, there's true love stories going on at the same time, and the 1970s crazies aspect as well. Not exactly zombie, but also like 28 Days Later. It touches upon the themes of consumerism, toxic infatuation, militarism, and the oppression of sexual hegemony. And we'll say this so that it can get into the woke crowd and people will love that. And then basically the name of this will be Aphrodisi Attack.
Okay, and that's time. That was. Did you time yourself ahead of time? Because that was on point. Nice, good work. Yes, definitely. I got a golf clap from my side, so I will echo the golf clap. You know what? That was really well done. That you can definitely tell. You know, the people that are comfortable talking about ideas and just pitching things, even if it's not a fictional thing. You know, you were very, very accomplished at that. That is a very well done pitch. I think the movie is a cool idea too. I definitely like that you had, so this is going to be a harder competition for me because everyone else that's done it has just really focused on the story. You're actually focusing on the pitch side of it too, where you're like, I like the not D-Day, but V-Day, like, you know, little buzz terms and things like that. Like, it's really well done, really well done. And then talking about the themes that it's going to hit on too. Like, I don't have that planned for myself, so I might have to make some adjustments. Let me just write it down. You said it was called What is it again?
Aphrodisi Attack.
Aphrodisi Attack. Okay.
Like aphrodisiac.
Sure. I got that much. No, I like it. That's really good. I was wondering if you were going to get to a title, actually, because so I was hoping you would. So, well, very well done. Technically, the title came after the time, but you know, whatever. I'm not gonna be that guy.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be that guy. All right, no, great job. So let's take a look at what people say. Michael says, well done. Vera Morris says, yikes, crazy love zombies. Yeah. Let's see. JP, I'm kind of liking this story. I could see this as a TV show with a lot of plot lines and characters and stuff. I could see that. I could definitely see that. She's the best salesperson you've had on here yet, says Corey. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That was a very, very well done thing. Maybe the closest would be Dave, because he's very, you know, expressive and quick and very, very show centric.
It's basically one speed, go.
Yep.
That's what I gotta do.
Danita Brown says that was really good as well. So very, very good. Very good. So of course, you guys know I will be putting a poll in the chat once I've gone, and you guys will have about 5 minutes to determine the winner of this particular round. So that leads me to my pitch. All right. So here we go. Let me get the timer pulled back up once again. And here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So my pitch is about a young woman. Well, it's a woman who actually, her birthday is Valentine's Day, and she's turning 40 this year. And she is really just sick of everything at this point. She's still single. She is still stuck at a shitty job. Because her birthday was on Valentine's Day, her whole life she had this impression that she was supposed to have, you know, this romance, this whirlwind romance, and end up as a fairy tale, you know, sort of ending, but it just hasn't happened. And she's now 40. She's had 3 failed relationships. And she's just at the end of her rope and considering, unfortunately, doing something to herself. And just then, an angel appears to her. Radiant light behind it, kind of obscured, but she can see that it's holding something at its side that looks not unlike a bow with a quiver on its back. And it basically says that, you know, if you, I'm here to help you achieve what you want. And if you go back and bring me the hearts of the 3 people that have wronged you most, then I will give you what you so desire. And so that's what it gets, you know, it's a dark idea where she now goes and seeks out her 3 exes, 2 guys, 1 girl, and tracks them down and meets with them and ends up killing them and taking their hearts. And this is kind of the fun and games of the story where each one could react different. Like the first one, the guy is still a complete asshole and totally, you know, deserves what he's going to get. And then it gets progressively harder with each person, where by the 3rd one, this person has gotten married and had kids and is very sorry about what they've done, but still she kills them and takes their hearts. she takes them back and presents them to the angel, which we now, as it comes out of the light and shows itself because it's no longer bathed in it, it then opens its maw wide and eats the hearts one at a time with 2 bites, you know, basically chomps through, and the woman is horrified, and he, you know, he got the elongated jaw, but he's bald, and it's basically Cupid, but a very horrific version of him. And she, as she turns to run, he says, "Now I'll provide you what you so desire, the peace you're so looking for." And he pulls up the bow, fires an arrow. It goes through her chest and pierces her heart and pushes it out of her chest. And she falls to the ground, and Cupid kind of slinks up in a really weird, you know, kind of motion way. And as he starts to devour her heart, she smiles because someone finally loves her. And that movie is called Heart's Desire. So that is, and now I'm officially out of time just now. So that is Heart's Desire. It is a revenge story. And I can't help but have sort of some kind of supernatural aspect in most of my pitches. I love those so much. So that is my idea. So let's see what people think. Let's see. Movie Mike says Demon Cupid. Mimi says Woot. And I don't know. We'll see what other people think. So yes, I have the sort of demonic Cupid, Heart's Desire, and Chauncey has the Crazies, Love Actually, Aphrodisiac. So I'm going to go ahead and pop those in a poll. Cecil, I like it. That's some dark stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely dark. It has that kind of Twilight Zone vibe to it. Like, you know, like you can see like where the ending might go and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. I was happy with that idea when I came up with it last night. It's weird. Last time when I was coming up with ideas, I jotted down like 6 ideas before I decided on one for what are the categories. Both of the ones we had to think of, my first idea is what I went with. So I was pretty happy with that one.
That's awesome.
But then I heard yours and your actual pitchability, and I don't know, that might sink me. We'll see. So Valentine's Day theme, and so how do I spell Aphrodisiac? Aphrodisi, is that
let me see what I wrote. APH.
Okay.
Yeah. RODISI-attack.
Attack.
Hey, Josh.
Gotcha. Perfect. I want to make sure I get that right. And then mine was, what did I call it? Oh yeah, Heart's Desire.
That officially the hardest decision of Hellevator Pitch yet.
All right, so ask your community. Cool, there we go. So Aphrodisiac and Heart's Desire. Let's see. Corey Novak says, I like that. Michael says, damn. Danita Brown says, wow. Cecil, nice pitch. Vera says, hard choice. Joss Watson says, hi, Chauncey. So, all right, let's see how this goes. We'll see how many. I'm going to leave it open for, let's see, it's 3:26 where I am right now, so maybe about 3:30.
We're not voting for ourselves, right?
I don't. If you, I mean.
Okay, I won't do it either. I just wanted to see who was doing what.
No, well, yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. It's a legitimate question. No, I have not voted yet. That would be slick, though, huh?
It would.
Writer's Room says, I love both. Very inventive concepts. There's a really great satirical yet creepy atmosphere with Chauncey's idea and a very cool monkey's paw aspect to Cecil's. Thank you. Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to describe them. So. Michael knew how to spell it. All right, so let's see. Currently, we've got 7 votes, and you're in the lead at 71%. So let's keep it going, guys. I think that's. Normally, I mean, we've got almost 30 people watching. Hopefully, we can get up to 20 votes at least. We'll see how it goes, though. But. Yeah, you know, usually we fill this time talking about the pitches. I think yours is cool. I wasn't sure where you were going to go, like, because you call it hot chocolate, and she eats the chocolate and starts to get hot and bothered. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like like she's literally going to combust and like
okay, can
burn
I
them
tell
up.
you? that was an idea. Michael kept trying to push that for the third act, and I just thought to myself, but what's the point of that? Wouldn't that like end the threat if everyone just spontaneously combusts? Shouldn't it be that there's an ongoing? What's the conflict of this? To me, I always think of conflict. Like, what's the conflict? Whether it's an internal conflict or an external conflict. And I'm like, well, if they combust, then why is anyone fighting for an antidote? Yeah. So I also had the idea that I was thinking, can I put animals in this somehow? But then I was like, oh, if you give it dogs, but then we're like, oh no, like you give it a cat or dog, they die from chocolate. So they can't.
Yeah, that's.
It's one of those things where it's like, how zany do you want it to be? Because, you know, you hear of these things and I'm just like, well, you know. Yeah. I was like, combustion could be a thing, but I stuck with the hot and bothered thing.
Michael's sticking to his guns. He says it enhances the third act.
And I was like, no. I'm like, I'm not putting that there.
All right. So, yeah, we're up to 14 votes. You're still in the lead at 71%. You're maintaining a pretty strong lead here. That's good. I've lost 2 out of 3 times, so at this point I don't mind losing. It's nice that people can come on here and do a good job and entertain people. That's all that really matters, right? So I think I've gotten it over at this point. I don't know.
I guess I'm okay with it.
Losing at my own show, you know. I've had to kind of get used to it and recontextualize the show in my own brain. This isn't something you're showing off at, Cecil. This is something you're showing your guests off at, apparently. So yeah, he says Chauncey still killed it though. No, I agree. Animals are Cecil's territory. He kills a dog in most Hellevator episodes.
Oh no! See, that's my thing, and that's why I did it. I was thinking maybe there needs to be a heightened thing, and I was like, I have a real thing where it's like, I don't like in horror movies where they hurt the animals. So I'm just like, I've tried to avoid that a lot of the time, or unless there's like some real retribution for it. So I was like, I don't want to make, animals get hurt in this. Let's focus on torturing the humans.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I did have 2 separate episodes where it was around pets dying, but it was, yeah, I tend to feel the same way as you. I think going for animal kills is cheap, but look, I'll be damned. Well, the first one was like the movie was revenge for the death of this guy's dog, essentially. So it was kind of like a horror John Wick is, I think, how I described it. So that at least made sense to me. But yeah, generally I agree with you, especially when it's cats. Anytime a cat dies, because I'm a cat guy. So
yeah, I got 3. We have 3.
I got 2. Yeah, I don't think Thorne's in here today, but he's usually creeping around my background. But yeah. All right, so we're at 18 votes. I think we're at 61%. I don't think even 2 more votes will push me to the top. But let's see. It's 3:31. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead. We'll call it at that 18 votes. Chauncey's going to take round 1.
Woo!
Good job, Chauncey. All right. So that means that it is time. I'll go ahead and end this poll. It is. Yeah, I know. Now we got to be careful. So it is time for us to do the audience pitch. So let's get your guys' ideas for pitch themes or, whatever. I think we did. God, I can't remember what some of the audience ones in the past were. Wasn't it? R-rated Scooby-Doo was one of my favorites that the audience came up with. And then I think we also did, what was it, futuristic horror, or that was one of the options, like cyborg horror? Was it space horror? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what people say. All right, so let's see. Guys, go ahead and get those ideas in the comments. Anything involving a dead cat, says Movie Mike. You son of a bitch. No. You son of a bitch, Mike. All right, so I got to flip to my page 2 when we get to that. And then, yay, Chauncey, says Josh. Yay. Okay, so Barnes is back.
Thanks,
what story would you come up with for the 7th Snicks film? How would you bring back Snicks after being banished in the previous film? I don't know what Snicks is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Is that? I don't know what Snicks is. Barnes. Vampire movie set in a hospital. That's specific.
Oh, jeez.
Let's
R-rated Scooby-Doo. Oh,
Yeah, we did that, Bannon. That was in the first Hellevator Pitch episode. Or it was no, I think that was in the Dave McCrae episode, if I'm not mistaken. So hang on, hospital vampire story. I'll write that down as an option. Time travel horror / mystery. I can write that down. Oh, okay.
I like Michael's.
Michael says a horror version of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, jeez.
I wonder what that would look like.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Let's see. My topic suggestion. That's JP. Your topic suggestion is just my topic suggestion. Okay. Barnes says a story for a film called "The Dragon in My Dreams." Okay, that's broad. I like that. That's an interesting way to approach it. God, that could be almost anything from drugs to creatures to emotional and physical abuse. That's okay. What I'll do is I'll take, you know, the ones that seem most feasible, and I'll make those a poll, and then you guys can decide which ones you want to do. Alien invasion. Okay. Let's see. Vera Moore's time travel. Okay, so I was thinking the same thing. This one's a bit of a wild card, but what's your pitch for a horror film based on a Disneyland attraction? Ooh. That's interesting. That is interesting. A story for a Dragon in My Dreams. Okay, so he reiterated that. Got it. Real horror Ghostbusters. Like an actually scary version of Ghostbusters. I could get behind something like that. Mimi says Sasquatch story. Always love a good Bigfoot tale. And then Bannon says zombie movie in Washington, D.C. Oh, okay. So JP says the Ghostbusters idea, it's set in a world where ghostbusting is like police or firemen. They're everywhere. Okay. Police force. I mean, that's
we're not doing horror version of
yeah, that's very, very specific. I mean, no, we really don't talk about Bruno or he'll kill you.
Right? Don't talk about Bruno.
Or it's the house that's starting to kill everyone. You have to figure it out. Don't get my mind going, Michael. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ideas. Let's whittle it down to 4 because I think we're limited of putting 4. So, Chauncey, you give me a yay or a nay on these as I go through real quick, okay?
Okay.
Just as options for them to decide on. Vampire hospital story?
Yay, sure.
Okay. Time travel horror?
Yay.
Horror Mr. Rogers?
I don't know. I feel bad. No.
No. The Dragon in My Dreams?
No.
Okay. Alien Invasion?
Okay.
Disneyland attraction?
Sure.
Ghostbusters like police force?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Sasquatch?
Sure.
I'm vetoing zombie movie. So that gets us down to 5. Hospital vampire story, Sasquatch story, time travel horror, alien invasion, or Disneyland attraction. Which of those do you want to axe?
So which it was hospital
vampire,
Disney,
time travel,
Sasquatch,
and alien invasion.
Oh, okay. That's hard.
I think alien invasion is the least interesting of those.
Okay.
So let's cross out that, and I'll do a poll of the other 4. Okay. So forgive us, guys, if we axed any of your ideas, but we had to whittle it down. So is that a Cinemassacre reference? I don't know that Dragon in My Dreams reference, if so. Okay. Audience pitch ideas. Okay, so hospital vampire story and time travel horror and Disneyland attraction. I still like that one. Attraction based And then, yeah, so it is limited to 4. And then Sasquatch story. All right, ask your community. Here we go. Michael says, half of what I'm throwing out are jokes. Well, you threw out 2 things. So hopefully the one that she vetoed was your joke. Stormtrooper of Metal. Horror YouTubers go out hunting for Jason. See, that's just the new Jason movie, though. I just throw topical shit out there. That's fair. No, I appreciate the contributions, Michael. It's all good, says Josh Watson. Okay, so I'm guessing that was one of the ones. All right, so they are voting. So far, time travel horror in the lead with 4 votes. But I wonder if... Yeah, I don't want to distract. Let's let people vote, because I was going to say we could do our third pitch while they're voting, but I want them to be able to concentrate on the pitches rather than focusing on the voting. So, all right, Disneyland attraction and Sasquatch story now in the lead, both at 33%.
Wow.
So that means 3 for that, 3 for that.
I usually do Universal Studios. I got to think about what Disneyland attraction is.
It's a good. I know there's. So let's just run through the only ones I really know are Matterhorn and Space Mountain.
I don't do Space Mountain whenever I go there. I usually do like Snow White, Roger Rabbit.
Is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride still there?
Yes, Mr. Toad is still there.
Okay.
And my favorite one is the Around the World.
Okay. They
It's
also
a Small World.
Oh God. Oh.
That's my favorite one.
Oh jeez.
I love it.
It's I was wondering who they had that there for.
People like me.
And then there's the submarine ride that they converted to the Finding Nemo ride. So submarine horror, okay. Because it doesn't, I mean, I guess the question is broad enough where it could be like a horror movie taking place at the attraction, or a horror movie based on that attraction, like they did Rampage, based on the Rampage video game. You know what I mean?
See, I was thinking more literal, like something goes on in that attraction.
I mean, it could go either way, whichever better idea pops into your head about, I suppose. Pirate horror. I like that. We're all out. No more ideas. No more ideas.
Pirate horror. That's pretty good.
That's not bad. It's not bad, honestly. I mean, I can't. Do we want to veto all these choices and just go with pirate horror?
No.
We've got 21 votes, and Sasquatch story has eked out time travel horror.
Really?
Yeah, Sasquatch story is at 38, time travel horror is at 33. So it's only been up for 2 minutes. We're getting lots of interaction here, but that's almost everyone that's voted. So now they're all right. We need one more vote to break the tie.
Oh, geez.
Time travel horror and Sasquatch story just pulls ahead.
Damn.
But
Okay, we got 23 votes and 24 people watching.
25 people watching now. Can we get everyone? If everyone can vote, that'd be awesome. I don't think that's happened yet, but that's cool. That's 23 votes. That's a lot of people. And Sasquatch horror has just eked out time travel horror by a little bit again. People are still voting for the ones that aren't even in the race anymore. It's a good use of voting. Yes. I love the democratic process.
Got some write-ins.
yeah, really. We do have write-ins. Imagine being okay, Vera. Stop going with the pirate horror. You're gonna screw us up. I like Bigfoot is stuffing the ballot box. I bet Bigfoot is stuffing the ballot box.
All right.
That's a really funny image. He's just sitting there going, "Yeah, do one about me." All right, so 40%, 25 votes, 25 people watching. Hell yeah, I'll take that. That is 100% contribution. Love it. Thank you, guys.
Great turnout.
Indeed. So Sasquatch horror pulls ahead, gets 40% of the 25 votes. So that means that we have 5 minutes to come up with an idea. I'm going to start the timer, and I'm going to move this over so you guys see Robert, and he can talk to you guys while I come up with my idea. Chauncey, feel free to put on music for yourself
folks.
or anything if that's going to help you. I've done that in the past. I won't right now because I don't want to get copyright claims.
Yeah,
But
we're on like a
if you do it, if you put it on
10,
your
15 second
headphones.
delay.
So, can everyone see Robert?
Yeah.
Good enough. All right, so I'm going to start the 5-minute countdown timer for us to think of our ideas. Robert's going to be chatting with you guys in the in the comments and on camera here. So let me pull this up, close down that one, and all right, and here we go. In 3, 2, 1, it's going to count down, and we'll start the 5 minutes. So 3, 2, 1, Go.
Hi Vera, how's it going? Alright. Alright, so basically right now, guys, it's pretty much questions. If you guys have any questions for us, for me, whatever, lay them on us. Say... Well, take place in part of the South. He's asking if I'm going to be playing Sasquatch for the winning pitch, if that wins. That's possible. See, Mike, I like that idea. Again, like a horror version of Harry and the Hendersons.
Don't talk about this idea because you don't want to step on anything.
I'm
I know.
sorry.
I'm just saying they can talk about it.
That's
but
fine.
Nothing that we can hear, so we're not influenced one way or another.
Fair enough.
Now I want to write that story.
Fair enough. Well, no, you can't.
That's what I'm saying. Don't take options off the table.
Yeah, Johnny, I definitely enjoyed the 2010 version of the Wolfman. Sadly, it got kind of meddled with from the studio, so it wasn't the final product of what the original script was. But still, it was definitely a good solid werewolf movie, and obviously, I can't go wrong with anything of practical effects. I'm a sucker for those. The Tremors thing, we're still slowly working on that. We have other projects right now that we have to finish up first before we get anything onto that. Right now, it's just some finalizing stuff of pre-writing kind of thing. And then obviously we're still scouting for some locations. We might do it here in Arizona, or we actually might be going out to California. We're not sure yet. No, Vera, I don't really think there are necessarily too many King adaptations just because of how popular he is. It's just the fact of all the King adaptations, not all of them are done very well, and that's the problem. So I can get kind of where you're coming at with, are they just overdone and just crapping them out? Yeah, 60-40. I'll take it on that. Corey, yeah, don't worry, I haven't forgot about you. I'll still get you some meat and everything. I haven't been able to get a new batch going or anything lately, and plus we're still working on everything else going on with that. It's slowly but surely we'll get this out and everything, and we'll get you a bottle, don't you worry. Yeah, somewhat, Dave. The Dr. Sleep movie was great. I thought that was a really well done adaptation. Castle Rock, though, I hadn't gotten around to yet. I know the rest of these guys have watched it. I believe everyone else liked it, especially Fuego. I'm not 100% sure. I think he still had some of his issues. No, I did not actually hear about a Blumhouse Thing reboot. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, even with apparently if Carpenter is involved. I don't know. Yeah, Johnny R. Yeah, I'm so on the Batman. Like, it looks cool. I definitely enjoy the darkness that they're going for and the brutality. I'm keeping an open mind. I'm not a huge Batman fan, nor really even a huge Superman fan, crap like that. So I don't know. I'll still definitely be checking it out. No, Bames. No.
is
We're
time.
good? All right. Let's bring it back over.
That is time. I didn't get
Oh
to
my
finish what I was
God.
going to write down, but hopefully it'll stay in my head. All right. Because I am going first on this one, I recall. Oh, guys, say goodbye to Robert.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you. Bye!
All right, so how'd that go, Chauncey? You feel the pressure?
Yes.
Oh, you're oh, sorry. I need to. I disconnected my thing, so okay, sorry. Say again.
I said yes.
Okay.
I felt the pressure.
Yeah, I did too. Again, last time we did this, I didn't come up with an idea until the last 30 seconds of it. So luckily, I still had about 2 or 3 minutes when I finally came up with something. I don't know if I ever would have gotten to a horror Harry and the Hendersons, but the idea, as soon as you said it, it wouldn't leave my head for like a minute. So
I blame Mike.
It ruined me.
I blame Mike.
All right, so cool. All right, I'm gonna go first. This is gonna be the 4-minute pitch. So that means Chauncey's got another 4 minutes, but of course I know she's gonna be listening attentive to my pitch.
Sure.
All right, so all right, I guess here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. So my story is going to be about a family, a mother, a father, and their young, maybe 14-year-old boy, who, or 14, 15, something around there, who is essentially an abused child. Like, they emotionally abuse him. They don't necessarily physically abuse him, but they don't treat him well. They've gone on this camping trip, and they're in this, kind of remote part of the forest in the Pacific Northwest. And it's this kind of old camping ground that the dad knows about that not many people do. When they get up there, though, they see that there's another group of kids, teenagers, that are there hanging out, not far off as well. So the parents are like, yo, go spend time with them, and like forces him. He's like, you'll just be sitting here like a loser if you don't. So you might as well go say hi to them, or something like that, and make good of yourself. We need a little adult time, that kind of thing. So they send him off. And he goes and tries to talk to the group, and the group they're kind of assholes. They're typical teenagers. They're kind of just assholes to him, but there's one girl who's kind of nice to him. And so he just kind of sticks closer to her as they go off and start exploring. As they're exploring, they find this cave, right? Big old cave deep in the forest, and there's this little wooden carving sitting on a rock right in front of the cave. And they're like daring each other to go into the cave. And the kid, they basically say, hey, new guy, you go do it. You go do it. You want to prove that you're cool and good to hang with us? You go do it. So he slowly starts to approach. And as he gets closer to the rock, he starts to get kind of cold feet and doesn't want to get any closer. And so one of the other kids comes up and is like, come on, pussy, go. And, pushes him. That's the character talking, not me. I would never use such language. But he pushes them, and the kid falls and knocks over the totem and, falls on top of it. And as soon as he does, they all hear this massive roar come from inside the cave. And they all start to get, freaked out. But as they kind of scatter. And as they scatter, the kid hears this lumbering thump, thump, thump as it's, getting faster. And as he's looking into the darkness of the cave, but as the thumping gets closer, he gets scared and he closes his eyes and he kind of balls up. And then the thumping just goes past him. And it starts to chase down the kids, but it basically catches up to 1 or 2 of them that tried to scatter, and the others get away. But it runs right past him, and basically what would happen is the Bigfoot that's now free because the totem was knocked off of its ceremonial spot, it starts attacking all the kids, tracking them down one at a time, eventually getting the parents as well. Not getting the parents yet, but what the kid realizes is because he had contact with the totem, he was still laying on top of it, so the thing didn't attack. Basically, he realizes that whoever has the totem controls the Bigfoot. So once he kind of realizes that, after the kids are all dead, but I don't know, maybe the girl would still be, or maybe she turns shitty when her boyfriend gets killed, kind of thing. And then so he realizes it, and he sends the Bigfoot to kill her, and then he would send the Bigfoot to take out his parents. and then, you know, go back to society with the totem in his pocket, and he'd be able to call on the Bigfoot kind of whenever he wants to use it for whatever purposes he has. So I think that gives me about 15 extra seconds, but that's basically the idea. So let me take this time to think of a good idea, title. Call it The Sasquatch in Your Pocket. There you go. And 3, 2, 1, that's it. So The Sasquatch in Your Pocket is going to be my rapidly thought of idea, and I didn't even have the microphone in front of me, so hopefully everyone heard it well enough. All right, so that was my 4-minute pitch. Kids messing with totems is very Brady Bunch horror, and I love it. I didn't even think of that, but honestly, the totem picture that I had in my head is not unlike that totem. So cool. All right, I imagine a Psycho Gorman-esque Bigfoot movie. Yeah, it could be fun like that. It would start off, you know, sort of more serious feeling, but once you got to that aspect that he figures out he can control the Bigfoot, I think that's where the fun starts to come in. So, all right, so that's my idea. I don't want to, you know, take extra time talking about why it's so awesome, because that's not quite fair. But here we go. Thank you.
Oh,
so,
is it my turn now?
Yep, it is. So I'm going to count you down, okay?
Okay.
All right, so in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is like Bride of Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So you have a small town. I named the girl Elise. She's a young woman, a young scientist. She goes back to town to deal with her ailing father, who is an eccentric scientist as well. The town, he's kind of ostracized. They don't really like him. It's a whole thing. And she's like, oh my gosh, why are you always doing this? Why don't you leave ever since mom died? She has dreams about her mama dying. It's a whole thing. Her mom died mysteriously, blah, blah, blah. She's also in love with the town college football player who was also he's also the son of the mayor of the town, the woman, the mother, the mayor. Okay, so something happens, you know, the town doesn't like her. She has, because of the outskirts, Elise has dreams about her mother dying. I've said that already. Then Jarrett, I named this guy Jarrett, because why not? Jarrett gets into a bad car accident, but they're far away from the hospital. So basically, she takes him back to her father's laboratory, and she's like, you need to save him. I don't want him to die like mom did. And the father's like, do you know what you're asking me to do? So he inserts him with a serum of this very controversial serum that had him being ostracized by his community. And basically he revives. It seems like Jarrett's okay, but Jarrett's not okay, because Jarrett basically has a Sasquatch gene that the father had got from the woods at one time somehow with his other research and finding Sasquatch. So Jarrett is also not turning into a werewolf, but the Sasquatch at certain times fueled by his emotions. But this is the thing. Jarrett is also conflicted because he's blacking out and people are dying brutally in the town. So Jarrett thinks it's him and Elise fall in love. They make love, blah, 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 blah. Turns out that it's actually not Jarrett killing people, but it's actually his father who died under mysterious circumstances that the mother, the mayor, had pushed the scientist father of Elise to do the thing. And that's one of the reasons why she hates him. And so she kept the father under wraps while she does other shady deals because she's not very nice. And basically Jarrett ends up having to have a battle, Sasquatch to Sasquatch, of his father, who he always felt this pressure from, to basically follow in his father's footsteps because his mother was always on him and stuff like that. And so his mother goes insane and things like that. And basically Jarrett survives and the father dies and kind of comes back to his senses and says, I've always been proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And then basically fast forward a little bit, Jarrett runs off and, Elise is trying to find him like the elusive Sasquatch, but her own Sasquatch trying to find him. And it turns out, and her father is like, do you know what's going on? And Elise like, we have another problem. I'm pregnant. And that's how it ends. And the name I have for this is My Love, My Monster.
Okay. Do you want to call it there? You still have a bit of time.
I haven't got nothing else.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. That kind of happens sometimes in this middle one. So, okay. You said my Sasquatch, my lover?
No, My Love, My Monster.
My Love, My Monster. Okay. Got it.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Sasquatch. Sure. Yes.
It feels kind of familiar. Like it's not far off of the one Howling movie from the 2000s. Like what is that, part 8, Reborn, The Howling Reborn, where the kid ends up being a werewolf because his parent is a werewolf, kind of thing.
I never watched that.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's ripped from it or anything. It's just what it brought to mind. It's a bit of that, a bit Frankenstein with the monster aspect, a bit Invisible Man with the serum aspect. So it's good. It's definitely a detailed idea. A Sasquatch on Sasquatch fight would be pretty fun. So, all right, let's see what everyone thinks. Let's create a poll here. So, pitch number 2, Sasquatch story. All right, and I called mine. I'll just call it the Sasquatch in my pocket, right? It might be better the Bigfoot in my pocket. I'm not sure. Either way.
I like the Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot in my pocket? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. The Bigfoot in my pocket. All right, and my love, my monster. Fair enough, Michael. Fair enough. Makes me wonder what the baby will look like. Does the baby change based on its mood?
No, I want the baby to rip out the mom's stomach.
Something like that. All right, so let's get the votes in, you guys. So I don't know. I just for my idea while everyone's voting, I just kind of liked. Again, trying to rack my brain real quick for a Sasquatch story that hasn't been done before. That's where I was going with the totem idea, the controlling aspect. I thought would be a neat twist on it, and the fact that you could go back and tell the previous story of the Sasquatch, what happened last time that someone trapped him in that cave. So there's deeper storytelling possibilities. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of an abused kid getting a chance to take his revenge and kind of breaking bad as a result of it, breaking Bigfoot. Maybe I should have called it Breaking Bigfoot.
No shit.
Damn it. But all right, let's. Here we go. My Love, My Monster in the lead with 9 votes. Looks like 6-3 votes right now, just based on the percentages and the number of votes. Tracking like usual.
I think for me, what can always appeal is just the idea if you put a love story somewhere in the center of a thing, people love that. And then if you also I don't know, the human aspect, because with the Sasquatch, I'm like, well, what if someone was, a Sasquatch? And then you do the quintessential, love story.
Yeah. I mean, one of my early ones was a love story between a boy and his dog. The dog came back to life and killed for him. So,
I still like that hellhound idea, though.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's right. Danita says this is a hard choice. Baby lends to a good sequel. Baby makes me think of Twilight, like the monster baby. I would I want to see the CG version of the Bigfoot baby.
Come on, guys. We got 22 people in the chat. We have 9 votes.
22 people, 9 votes. Let's get some more votes in. It's looking pretty empty up there on my side of the poll, guys. But let's see. Both ideas were excellent. Thank you, Michael. Let's see. It sets up a sequel with Baby Sasquatch. Yep. That's what someone else said as well.
Played by Jack Black.
Yeah. Well, mine. So mine could be a sequel too. It just would be like The Lost World. It'd be Bigfoot in suburbia because he goes back to town and he still has to be able to call on the Bigfoot. Then it becomes Horror Harry and the Hendersons because he lives with the Bigfoot. So I got there eventually. All right, 60-40, getting a little closer with that on 10 votes, so that means 6-4. Come on, guys, we got a few more people that can vote, make this a little more interesting. We'll give it another couple of minutes. We've only been up for 3 minutes so far. Cecil has a lot of stories with things killing for him. Remind me not to make him angry.
Yeah, revenge type. You have a lot of revenge type.
I do tend to, well, yeah, I guess maybe so. I don't know. One of these days I'll have to go back and actually write down all the ideas and see what the commonalities are and stuff like that. Supernatural is definitely a commonality in it. I just find that more fun for horror than real life horror and, you know, regular serial killers.
The creature and monster movies more than anything.
They do really well, you know, for the most part. People like that stuff because that's the stuff they don't get in real life. Serial killers exist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I you know, true crime stuff is uber popular for that reason. You know, but
I think it's the fascination of the human brain of someone to be that depraved and like the puzzling. Like what's that new one on Netflix, To Catch a Murderer?
Yeah.
Or To Catch a Killer? We actually watched that. I did like it, but I like it from the detective's perspective, like how they solving a puzzle, because I like that. Like I played the Resident Evil game, so I like the whole idea of solving puzzles to find things and horror survival. But yeah, I do not like those movies where everyone just dies. What's the one, like the home invasion ones, where you just know it's bad? It's like, so why am I sitting through this knowing that the whole family doesn't survive? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, and that's you know, that was, so the fact that it wasn't a whole family is why I was okay with killing my protagonist in the Valentine's one. But yeah, with the family one, the kid survived in order to, you know, continue on. I agree. I mean, it's a horror trope, right? Where nobody survives at the end, but I don't think it's quite as interesting of an ending.
Yeah.
And
I like my horror to have optimism.
That's fair. That's fair. I might say I go the chaotic evil route with that. I like the evil optimism where like the story's not over. There's more depravity to be had. And can this character be redeemed? Maybe something like that. I don't know, but yeah, so agreed with Cecil about horror. Don't like serial killers, but at all. But love supernatural. That's the thing. So that's what I was going to get to. I didn't yet. But serial killers exist in real life, so I don't find stories about serial killers that interesting, because there's so many stories about actual serial killers that are really, you know, disgusting to hear. But it's not like I go to movies to visit places that I don't get to normally visit. And I guess likening that to the horror genre, I like to go see scary things that I don't get to see in real life. Monsters, again, that's why they're my favorite subgenre.
Mankind's greatest fear is fear of the unknown, and we already know about serial killers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we're at 57% versus 43% at 14 votes. We have 25 people watching. Can we get a few more people? I'd love to get at least... We got 18 votes on the first one. And I'm close enough where another 4 votes could sway it at least. So
look at you keep throwing that in.
Look, I gotta. If no one's gonna believe in me, I gotta believe in me. You know what I mean?
You'll be #1 fan.
Oh God, I can't even get 50% average on my own show.
We were just at 50-50.
Jesus, no, I mean like.
Well, hey, you know what? It's showcasing our hosts or our guests.
I know. Well, I think part of the show has become me complaining about not being able to win my own show. Yeah, I think that's part of the show now.
That's cute.
I begrudgingly accept it by the end every time. Show Cecil some love, folks. Round 3 needs to count. There you go. Yeah, let's make it a tie game. Come on.
Hey, now listen, you can't do that. No pity votes. Come on.
Is it pity or keeping it competitive?
I don't know.
Fair enough. At least you're calling me out on it. The other guys are just like nicely laughing. I like it. You're fighting back. It's good stuff. All right. Well, it's 60-40 on 15 votes. 16 votes. Now it's 62-38. Wrong way, guys. Wrong way. Just saying. We're going the wrong way there. All right. Well, it's been up for 7 minutes, so I'll go ahead and call it. Chauncey wins round number 2, so now we're just doing round 3 for fun, you sons of bitches. Yeah, calling the show Breaking Cecil. Yeah, basically. All right, so Chauncey gets number 2. At least oh God, if I don't win a single round this episode, Jesus.
Well, this biblical one was a little hard for me, even though I love biblical ones. It's hard for me to come up with something, so I might get this one.
Yeah, I didn't. I started I unfortunately was busy preparing stuff and not sleeping last night, so I didn't actually get to start thinking about this until about an hour and a half before the show. But it did come to me pretty quickly because, generally when I think of my ideas, just if anyone's curious, about the process in the brain, I tend to think about experiences that I have, or at least have tangentially had with regards to these topics. So like, what experience with biblical stuff do I have? And you'll see how it ties into my situation. So yeah, Michael, like I didn't know who you were voting for anyway. Son of a bitch. I wonder how many viewers are from your channel anyway. Stop the steal, Chauncey.
Wow.
Stop the steal.
You want to count the machine?
Yeah. I'm going to sue the voting apparatus, the poll. Whoever creates the polls, I'm suing them. No, the actual creator.
Oh, whatever.
All right. Well, that leads us to our pre-prepared pitch, which I will actually pull up on time this time. I always forget to change. We skipped right over. If anyone's curious what the Valentine's pitch graphic looked like, there you go. Valentine's Day themed. So here we go. Now we are on pitch number 3, biblical/occult themed. All right. So we got to flip the coin again on this one to see who goes first. So I let you choose last time. I will choose this time. Okay. I cannot rig the coin toss, unfortunately. I don't know how to do that yet. Call Georgia, Cecil. There might be more votes for you. Thank you. Yeah. Is there hanging chads from Florida? Fucking damn it. Florida voters screwed us again. Movie Mike beat me to that joke. Damn it. All right. You're going to sue yourself. Yeah. There's a hanging chad. See, Ben Grimm and I got it to the same place. All right. All right. So it was Chad. Yeah. Blame Chad. So here we go. Blue or red? I will call blue. Bam. It's red again. God damn it. All right. So, Chauncey, you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Smart lady.
Take all the advantages, why don't you? God. Okay. Here we go. I'm kind of worried about this one, but we'll see. We'll see if it rings for anyone, I wonder if anyone had experiences like this. And we get 5 minutes on this countdown. So 5-minute pitch. Here we go. Back to the volcano. Seriously, Cecil, this show is so much fun. You're doing great. Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, I think part of the entertainment is seeing me break down about it at this point. So, okay, here we go. That being said, I'm going to do the 5 countdown to the 5-minute countdown, the 5-second countdown to the 5-minute countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this one is going to be called Sunday School. And that's where a majority of my experience has come from. So a family moves to a sort of a smaller town in the Bible Belt. A mom, a dad, a sister about 11, something like that, and then a boy about 7. Okay, and they move into this town because the dad's got a job locally, and they are going to their church. They're going to try out their new church that they've just gotten to. When they go on that Sunday, they meet some of the people, which are, they're very pleasant, very, churchly people that are always kind to newcomers. They also happen to meet another family that's new to town, first time at this church. And the dad kind of leans over to the dad's like, oh, I'd rather be watching football, that kind of thing. And as they're about to go sit down for the service, a couple of other young kids come up and say, hey, do you guys want to come to the Sunday school with us? Talking to the kids. And the 11-year-old's like, no, I don't really, I don't want to do that. But the 7-year-old's like, yeah, mommy, daddy, can I? Because they're like, oh, it's way better than having to just sit in there listening to the sermon. And so the 7-year-old wants to go, and so the 11-year-old kind of begrudgingly goes along to watch him. Meanwhile, the other family has 2 6-year-olds, twins that go as well. So they all go, and basically what this Sunday school is a very, very seriously religious cult atmosphere. The 11-year-old starts to key into the fact that all the kids kind of move the same. It's not quite Village of the Damned, but Basically, they're all very strict with God. They only want people that are very godly there. And there's a lot more kids in the Sunday school than seems like there should be. And what it turns out is the kids will lure other young kids into the Sunday school. And if their parents are deemed by the adult parishioners to not be godly enough, then the kids, they're actually brought to the Sunday school when they're supposed to pick up their kids, but their kids end up murdering the parents as a rite of passage to join the cult. And so, for instance, the reason they find out about this is the 7-year-old kid gets very into it very quickly, but the 11-year-old is resistant. And then the 2 6-year-old twins do as well. So when the parents go to pick them up, the dad that was like, "Oh, I'd rather be watching football," and the other parishioners heard it, they kill the dad. And when the mom sees this, she tries to go run to call the police, but the 2 6-year-old kids are there waiting, and they stab the mom. And then the other, the leader of these kids, who's maybe like 15 or something, comes up and like dips his fingers in the blood and does like a little blood cross on their forehead, kind of like Ash Wednesday, christening them into the cult. And so the idea is the 11-year-old trying to convince her parents of what's happening and get them to leave or do something. But as it goes along, the mom is actually falling for the cult and getting dragged into it by the parishioners. And the dad starts to finally believe the 11-year-old. And when he tries to get them to escape, the parishioners kill him. And that shakes the mom out of it. And she basically, realizes how terrible this is. And so she takes the kids and manages to escape. But basically from that point on, the little boy, kind of how the movie would end is as they drive off, we can't really tell if the little boy is now just a time bomb waiting to go off and get back to the cult however he can, or not. And so that's kind of how it would wrap up for me. So that's what's called Sunday school. And again, Sunday school is what I went to when I was younger, and I thought it was a really good entree to do kind of like a new sort of Children of the Corn kind of situation, in a different way. A little Village of the Damned, little Children of the Corn, a little bit of a cult thing, a little bit of a biblical thing. So that's where I landed with Sunday school, and I've got about 15 seconds. So Def had a Sunday school experience like this, says Ben. Okay. So let me seriously, Cecil. Oh yeah, sorry, I already read that one. Damn, lost both rounds and both coin flips. Somebody give Cecil a hug. Churchly, yeah, Churchly. Is that a adjective I use? That sounds like me. Sounds like an average day in Scientology. Yeah, fair enough. Be careful, careful. You'll get in trouble if anyone's in the chat. But all right, so that's gonna do it for my idea. Let me reset the timer for you, Chauncey.
Hey.
All right, and I'll give you the 5-second countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So basically, this concept is the idea of the secret horror story of Christ. Jesus wasn't just a prophet that we hear about. He was a prophetic hunter of angelic vampires that terrorized the lands in the early days of the Bible. Jesus performed exorcisms and could sense corrupted angels that fed on humans, because the way that it goes is that it's kind of like the Secret Scrolls. People have watched the History Channel and things like that. And basically, when God created man, he put a life source in us, our soul. That's what we know as our soul, but it's actually a life source that was simultaneously what brings us to life, but also a temptation and a test for the original First Testament angels, which they could feed off of if they wanted to grow stronger. But God put it in, because they're beings, to say, you don't do that and you protect these. And then what you had was Lucifer, as we know in the Bible, being like, I'm against, humans. But the real reason was because how dare God create these beings that should really be our prey, as opposed to our our charge. And so that's what cast them out. And what you have is that you don't have the original angels, the angels that we know from the New Testament, the beautiful angels with the wings. You got the First Testament angels with the ones with all the eyes and things like that, the way that they originally looked before they got beautified in later ones to make it more make Christianity more approachable. So what you have is that, you know, it takes a more serious approach. You know, Jesus wanted to be a carpenter, but he had this calling. And then Lucifer leads the corrupted angels, and Jesus is part of understanding that there are these sources that they have to get rid of, or humankind will be completely corrupted. But the twist is the fact that Jesus's birth, a miracle birth, is not necessarily a miracle birth because of the fact that he had no father. It's a miracle birth because he has both part regular human soul source and the angel vampiric angel source within him. So when he kills the other two, he realizes that he is the third source on planet Earth or in this realm, and that basically he has to be crucified in order to save the rest of humanity. So this leads into the thing, and Lucifer is like, you want to kill us, but you are us. And that's when Jesus is like, I'm part of, like, God, why have you forsaken me? So all of this kind of plays into the regular story that we hear of Jesus, but with a vampiric kind of retelling of it. So basically he gets his disciples, the 12, which are also his helpers with it, and he says, I have to be crucified. So this is the part where Judas isn't actually evil, but Judas was his BFF, and he says, you need to be the one to do this, because he knew no one else would. And he goes to be crucified, and what you have is that he's crucified, and it's basically the way to save it. And the reason why we have the tradition of eating my blood and my body is to ward off the vampiric plague. But that story got lost over time. So that's it.
All right. You still got like a minute 45. You want to call it there?
This is called The Haunting of Jerusalem.
The Haunting of Jerusalem. Okay. Okay. It immediately sprang to mind a couple of comics that I have that were done independently, so I wouldn't be surprised if anyone hadn't heard of it. They actually did Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter for a few issues.
Okay.
But also, as you were talking, what I thought would I was like, oh, if she makes this the twist, like, I'll be really impressed. But to me, like, that could be the origins of Blade.
That's what I thought.
There you go.
I was like, he's both. But the idea that he has to get crucified.
Like, what if Blade, as we know it, was actually Jesus, right?
Jesus, right? That's what I thought.
Because he's half human, half vampire.
Blade. Jesus is Blade.
That would, like, and if I was waiting for you to go, and so fast forward 2,000 years. And now he's Blade. Right, because let's be honest, Jesus probably wasn't the white boy that he's portrayed as. So, it could very well be. But yeah, I that's a good one. That was fun. So, all right, let me put this in I would watch this, but needs a catchier title, says someone. Blade Christ, yeah.
Blade Christ.
So let me put the poll up. So pitch number 3, biblical/occult. And mine was Sunday School. And yours is The Haunting of Jerusalem. All right. Cool. Let's see. Let me go back, see what comments I missed. Creepy Cecil, just where it took me, Children of the Corn. So this sounds amazing. Sounds like a prequel to Supernatural. Literally 30 seconds after that comment, I had a knock at my door. It was my neighbor, but I got worried for a second. This is a fucking sweet idea. I missed the first round, so I'm going to have to rewatch this later, but goddamn, Chauncey is killing it. I do like both of these stories, though. I would see both. Wow, what a story. Wow. Yeah, let's see. This is really hard. Blade Christ. Great show. Some very interesting story pitches. Thank you, Mind Folklore. and see Jesus fighting with a sword. Copper skin, hair of wool. Yeah.
It could be Blade, yeah.
I like that Chauncey's takes place back in the days the Bible was about. More horror from that time period would be cool. That's the thing, like, would Jesus use a sword, or would he use like a walking stick knowing Jesus, right?
Yeah, I thought about that too. And that's why I was like, I didn't want it to be like, oh, he's slashing vampires, but more so like, his powers, like the reason why he can sense the vampires is because he is part vampire. That's why no one else can sense them when they attack. That's one of the parts of it. It's just more so he can maybe more magic than the idea of like him straight up like wanting to slice people,
Well, your volume just dropped dramatically. Did something slip on, or what happened there? I wonder.
Can you hear me?
Did Skype change something? Yeah, it just dropped. I mean, yeah, I can still hear you, but it's really faint all of a sudden.
That's weird. I'm close to it though.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it just popped back. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because going by Temple of the Doom rules, Jesus wouldn't be flashy. Right?
Yeah, no.
So I think what would be fun is, and again, now I'm just going to help your idea because fuck it, who cares at this point? But he's a carpenter, right? So wouldn't he fashion stakes out of table legs and shit like that?
Yeah, just like really innovative things. He performs exorcisms. Just the idea of like he's more innovative.
So what I think would be fun, like, I don't know if people are, what I'm imagining based on what you said is like Jesus versus vampire angels, right? Where it's like flying dudes that are vampires, like that would be cool for him taking out, as opposed to, vampires that are spreading a vampire virus around Jerusalem kind of thing. That's what I was picturing. I'm not sure if that's what
well, they can also infect the humans, but the problem is it's like really deadly to the humans. Like, how in some situations you have the vampires who are totally conscious, and then you have the ones that are just more like walking feeders type thing, and that's kind of what happens to corrupt the human race. And it kind of, I wanted it to play into other biblical stories. Like you had those stories of angels coming down and mating with women, which is why we had the giants on Earth. Like that's one of the stories that you hear, and things like that. And the reason why I have it as the First Testament angels, because a lot of time the angels are so beautiful and things like that. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool that they were gorier in the sense of, how they're described as with all the eyes and things like that. So it's not so much that they're seductive, they're just, and then you kind of have like, I always think Lucifer can be sexy in those things because he can be a great character. It's like he kind of thinks God kind of played this sort of cruel joke on his first beings, because it's like, why would you create something we can eat and then tell us to protect them? What kind of joke is this? But it's the kind of question of the idea of God, how so many people think that God is like, whether he's someone who they are someone that created all of us and we're just like, okay, have at it, or if they're actually engaged, or maybe it's a cruel joke. Maybe we're just in some 8-ball of some kid toddler, and that's our God. Those kind of questions. And that's the questions they ask too, the angels and Jesus. Because, one of the things he says on the cross is, God, why have you forsaken me? Like sort of this whole thing. And it's like, why did you put me on here if I was supposed to just sacrifice myself in the end?
I kind of want a epic biblical ending to it where, right, the angels are the ones that are crucifying Jesus, and then God actually comes down and is just like a much bigger version of them that has gotten, he's so far beyond what they are that he doesn't crave blood anymore, but he just starts like picking angels out of the air and just like biting them in half and shit like that. And it's too late to save his son, right? Because he's already bleeding out. But you could throw it like, while God's tearing up the angels, Jesus can say, God, forgive them, they know not what they do,
Yeah,
use that line while the angels are getting torn up, because they're all still kind of Jesus's brethren.
True.
So
I just love the fact that you can interwove like what's actually happened in the Bible. Like one of my favorite movies is Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, and I'm just like, what if you did that with Jesus, but less like,
Yeah, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies was also a fun one.
That was a good one too.
Those movies are fun. Ben Grimm says, like, sometimes there was a bus that would come by and pick up all the neighborhood kids and wouldn't, oh, he's talking about his experience, wouldn't even know where we were going, just a random church, and parents would let them. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of weird experiences from Sunday school, so that's kind of why I went that way too. And believe it or not, it's so funny. Immediately after we have the discussion about how I like having supernatural elements, I go to an idea where it's actually just crazy people. And you go big supernatural with it. Let's see. I've been to some evil Sunday schools that felt very cult-like growing up in a military family and moving a bunch. They have really weird atmosphere. Yeah. That's why I thought it was a good idea, but apparently 71% of you don't agree. Out of 14 votes, 71% already on Chauncey's side once again. All right, so note to self: no more women on the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I know. That's so reductive too. Like saying the only reason she wanted she's a woman. Oh, it's so bad. I'm such a.
You're canceled.
That was the joke, guys. I hope you realize that was the joke. But okay, just in case you don't, I know.
Guys.
Don't make me get my chainsaw, Chauncey. I'll cancel the cancelers. I just saw something about that on Reddit, and it legit creeped me the fuck out. Yeah. See, so I hit on the actual fears apparently, but that's not. That doesn't matter enough to you guys. Still. Cecil's idea is more relatable, honestly, but I'm going to vote for Chauncey.
Well, you got people sleeping in the chat and everything. We got, what, 23
We got 23 people watching, 14 votes. Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yes, the random church bus. Everyone's still talking about the church stuff. Which one resonates more, guys? Come on. Biting angels in half. I would watch that. Yeah, see, me too. Like a giant god, just like, that'd be pretty cool, though. Only if God's played by Alanis Morissette. That's too distracting. People be like, that's not God, that's Alanis Morissette. Did Kevin Smith direct this?
Dogma.
Hellevator, the show where Cecil loses for our entertainment. Yeah, that's the point. Still only 14 votes, even after the scolding we just gave everyone.
Come on,
guys, if you're driving, risk it.
It's a 3-second look down.
Yeah, exactly. Don't accidentally tap hers, though, by God. Let's see. No, you know what? That's fine. We're at 8 minutes. I mean, that's longer than the last couple times, so I'll go ahead and end this as well. Chauncey goes 3 for 3.
Woo!
I honestly am thinking about the idea of doing a kind of tournament of champions where I invite past winners on to go up against each other. That might be kind of fun. So, I guess expect a call if that ends up happening, Chauncey, because nobody's taken all 3 categories before.
Wow!
Nobody's taken all 3, so I'm particularly bitter.
This is so much fun, though. This is a great show, Cecil.
I'm glad you enjoy it. That's the whole point, right? It's fun because it's story ideas, and people can say, yeah, I'd see that, or no, I wouldn't see that, or I definitely see that more than I'd see that, or whatever. It's meant to be fun, and thank you very much for not only coming on, but for taking it so seriously. I really do appreciate that, and let me make sure I switch this to, I gotta change it from pitch number 3 to crowning the champion. Crowning the winner, I should say. You're not a champion yet, Chauncey. You're just the winner. You relax there. But no, thank you very much for coming on it, and like I said, taking it seriously and taking it from an even more pitch perspective than some of the other people have in the past. So you can see how quickly it devolves to just talking about story rather than if you haven't put the time into thinking about the themes and stuff behind it that you can talk about during your pitch like you did for the first one. It's tough to squeeze it in there sometimes when you want to get your whole story out. So yes, thank you, Josh. Guys, the link to Chauncey's channel is in the description box. It's been there the whole time. Make sure you go and subscribe to her if you are not subscribed yet. And Chauncey, do you want to let everyone know where the best place to find you is outside of the YouTube channel, since that's the link I have down there?
Oh yeah, well, YouTube. If you go to the YouTube channel, it also has some other things. I'm now on Twitch. I'm also, if you like watching horror games, I play horror games Tuesday through Friday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Right now I'm doing Resident Evil. I do a lot of first playthroughs. So right now I'm on Resident Evil 2, the remake, and I'm playing Claire's part. So I really like playing horror games. So if you want to come, and while I'm playing horror games, we talk horror movies and all that other stuff. So it's a chill place to get creepy and cozy and twisted. And
she sometimes puts clips up on the YouTube channel too.
I know, yeah.
So you can get a little dabble on the YouTube channel and then follow her over to Twitch.
Yeah, just recently on Friday, I did a tier list of a very controversial tier list of the Friday the 13th movies.
How would you feel about, yeah, controversial indeed, I'm sure. It would only be more controversial if it was a Texas Chainsaw tier list. But hey, how would you feel about maybe doing like a Phasmophobia run with me and a couple of the other people?
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I haven't played Phasmophobia because I haven't had any, because it's a group thing, right?
Yeah, they've made a ton of improvements now, and we played it when it first came out, so we're kind of familiar, so we'd all could muddle through it together. That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I'd love that.
All right, cool.
Always love playing horror games with people.
Yeah, and that'd be fun because we could do it on our Twitch. You could do it on your Twitch. We can feed people to each other, and people can pull up 2 screens, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so. I actually play. I don't do Dead by Daylight on the Twitch. I just play that off because it's so saturated. Yeah. But I do Leatherface on there.
Nice.
I do Leatherface and Nemesis. I play Killer. I don't play Survivor and Dead by Daylight.
Well, maybe also we could have you on to play the Evil Dead game when that comes out, because that's
I am so excited about that.
Because that's supposed to be 4-player, right? Yeah, the Texas Chainsaw one too. Yeah,
from the same people that made the Friday the 13th one. Hopefully, we won't get in like a whole legal battle.
But that's the thing. So the Leatherface one is going to be like Friday the 13th, where I'm guessing one person's Leatherface and everyone else has to survive. But the Evil Dead one is more like Left 4 Dead, where it's 4 people versus Deadites and stuff like that. So
that'd be cool. Yeah.
So okay, cool. We'll be in touch about that.
Awesome.
Glad to have reconnected with you for this show. It seems like we're getting a lot of really good show. Chauncey, Cecil, and Robert, great show, awesome ideas, outstanding show. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I am very proud of Hellevator Pitch and how it's coming along. It's a lot of fun. So thank you again for joining and taking part, Chauncey. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. So again, make sure you subscribe to Chauncey. Thank you to all of our patrons for helping make the show possible. Thank you to Robert for helping behind the scenes and for that 5-minute portion. I do appreciate that as well, sir. But until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert the Wolfman.
And that's been Chauncey. And remember, guys, stay scared.